les tentatives qui sont faites aujourd'hui, notamment orchestrées par Sylvia, née Sylvia Valentin, l'épouse d'Ali Bongo, pour pousser son fils, leur fils Nourdine, dans le fauteuil du successeur.
What this man is saying is that Sylvia, Ali Bongo's wife, masterminded the coup because she wants to put her son in power. That her son is Nuruddin, the one on the left here. And it seems the coup is not going according to plan because of what she did yesterday. But we'll come to that in a moment. Nuruddin in this video is wearing a t-shirt worth nearly $1,000. The second guy by the right saying he doesn't know how much the money is, but they are campaign funds. His Valentino t-shirt is worth $500. Plus all the luxury cars they have, all this money they've seized so far is estimated to be up to 70 billion francs CFA. And going by the current exchange rate to the dollar, it should be about $115 million. They need to investigate the source of this money, who authorized the withdrawal, because these are crisp bank notes from a bank. Politicians can't be this bold, taking money directly from the central bank. Also, according to Vincent, an independent journalist, there was an aborted coup in Gabon in January 2019. The soldiers involved talked about the state of health of Ali Bongo, who of course had a stroke in 2018, and they succeeded in taking control of Radio Gabon before the coup flopped. The most important takeaway from that coup is that all the major actors are from the same clan with Ali Bongo. So it has always been a family affair. If that coup of 2019 succeeded, it would have brought to power someone of the same extended Bongo family, or maybe the same circle of Omar Bongo, Ali Bongo's father, who had 55 children. The man wanted to turn Gabon to a constitutional monarchy with the help of France. He actually made the proposal, but they didn't take him seriously. This happened when Jacques Chirac, the former French president, was still the prime minister. So Omar Bongo's dreams and aspirations still lives in his relatives. They seem to believe that power should revolve around them, that no other person can take power in Gabon, like they are the founders of Gabon or the first-class citizens of Gabon. That's why the West haven't come down hard on them like they did in Niger. No one is evacuating like they did in Niger. They all feel it's a family affair, no cause for alarm. This brings us to the general, who is Ali Bongo's cousin by the way. He will take oath of office on Monday. It is interesting that in the Francophone countries, they swear in their military heads of state or head of the transition committee, whatever they call it. Never mind that they took power by force. This means that the country is giving legal backing and recognition to their power. This also happened in Guinea recently. It doesn't seem like it happened in Niger. No pictures were released or videos. Why this is interesting is because France said they do not recognize the authorities in Niger. The people legitimize this power if they can use instruments of state to swear in a military head of state or head of transition, which for now is the highest authority in the country. They can't get more legitimate than that. Also, to prove that this is a family affair in Gabon, the military authorities annulled the elections instead of calling for a recount. Well, without prejudice, maybe they felt that the election was so flawed and irredeemable that it's better to conduct a fresh one. Though the presumed winner of the presidential election is not buying it, Albert Ondo, the candidate of the opposition party, is calling for a recount to be declared winner. Also, another family affair proof is what this lady did. She is Ali Bongo's daughter. She quickly congratulated General Nguema when the military appointed him to lead the transition. That's despite working full-time during the campaign for his father's re-election. Whether she's doing it to get favors from the general or just to prove that she believes her father, Ali Bongo, is not fit for office, therefore she doesn't have any problem with his removal from power, whatever it is, but it doesn't look right that she campaigned for the man a few days ago. So it looks very much like a power tussle. They know that Ali Bongo is no longer fit to lead the country. They allowed him to conduct a sham election, and immediately the results were announced, they removed him, and General Nguema, who feels he should be the next in line instead of Nuruddin, Ali Bongo's son, quickly took power, and he quickly moved to arrest Nuruddin, who is his main rival in the power tussle. So since the military said they will give account to the people of Gabon after all the arrests and seizures, it will be interesting to see the punishment that all the people involved will receive. This will effectively disqualify Nuruddin from contesting for the presidency in the future, therefore clearing the way for General Nguema.
Je vous annonce que sur la base de vos propositions.
Anyway, let's see what Sylvia, Ali Bongo's wife, did. She filed a complaint in France through her lawyers saying that she has been under arbitrary detention in Gabon. It's laughable because the French justice system does not have jurisdiction in Gabon. How are they going to enforce the order, assuming a court eventually orders her release? She also has a Gabonese nationality. Maybe she should have tried a court in Libreville. Oh, the court won't work because they can't make an order against the military. Even if they tried, they will not obey them. If what Vincent, the independent journalist, said is true, that she orchestrated the coup in order to place her son on the path to succeed his father, that means things are no longer working according to plan. That's why she had to make the complaint in Paris. Maybe she wasn't expecting to be put under house arrest. Anyway, it doesn't seem like anything will come out of the complaint she made in France because they know it's a family affair. And the Gabonese military have already assured the international community that they will respect all international agreements. That means France is safe. There's no threat to their influence in Gabon. All their companies have nothing to worry about. The status quo will be maintained. This is the main reason Western countries oppose and sanction military regimes, because most military coups are revolutionary in nature. They bring sudden changes to the system, like it is happening in the Francophone countries in the Sahel, where most of them have completely cut off the overbearing French influence on their countries. So Western countries won't oppose the Gabonese military as much as they are doing in Niger, because it's the Bongos that are still in power in Gabon. The struggle continues for the people of Gabon until they are able to get through democracy. Their situation may never change for the better. Western countries only care about their interest. The system of government is not really the main consideration. They can support a dictator in civilian garb, who when you compare to a military regime is worse. Look at what is happening in Central African Republic. It's a democracy, but they are doing things a military regime will think twice before doing. If they can't allow people to protest in a democracy and there are casualties in their hundreds as a result of police overzealousness and high-handedness, why is no one talking about it? Everywhere you look in Africa, it's almost the same thing. In Nigeria, for instance, there are people in detention right now despite a court order granting them bail. That is what happens in a military regime. Why is it happening in a democracy? One local government chairman in Ogun State, Nigeria, accused the governor of misappropriating local government funds. Instead of the relevant state agencies to investigate the potential corruption, and if it turns out to be false, the governor may seek damages in court for slander. But no, they must intimidate a whistleblower or any opposing voice. That's why the SSS quickly arrested the LG chairman. Something that is a civil matter. Slander should never involve the police, except maybe the person refuses to come to court. So this is a major problem. Democracy can't grow in an atmosphere of fear. Free speech is guaranteed by the Constitution, but you dare not oppose them, or they will come hard on the person. When you see atrocities and human rights violations that go on in a supposed democracy and Western countries look the other way, one wonders the real meaning of democracy. The casualty numbers from insurgency, cattle headers and farmers' conflict and all security challenges in Nigeria the past decade alone are much higher than what we had during the military era. Western leaders all pretend that there's nothing wrong, even when it is proved that the state intentionally allowed some of these to happen. This was witnessed mostly during Buhari's administration. They pretended nothing was happening because most of the actors are the same ethnicity with people in power. If just 1% of what happened under Buhari were to happen in a military regime, you will see Western leaders running around and within a few hours, sanctions will be flying everywhere. In the 90s, under Abacha's regime, the West placed Nigeria under heavy economic sanctions because of the Ogoni 9. Since 1999, how many times did they sanction Nigeria because there were casualties in a protest as a result of high-handedness of security agents? None, not a single time. In fact, the only people they've targeted are the military because of their human rights abuses and other infractions. But they never target the politicians who give the order in the first place. Why? In their own countries, any casualty resulting from high-handedness from overzealous agents, justice must prevail. The person must be found and tried, and in some cases, compensation paid. If they truly want us to believe that they truly support the growth of democracy in Africa, not the type practiced by politicians, they know we can't get justice here because politicians have hijacked every institution. Even if you're lucky to get judgment in your favor from a court filled with patriotic justices, the executive branch led by politicians will never obey the court order. Yes, they don't obey court orders, and some incorruptible justices might suffer consequences if they pass certain judgments against them. So if they want us to believe that they genuinely support Africans in their quest for emancipation, then they must make sure they sanction these politicians on individual basis. Whether it's a president, a governor, any politician in a position of authority, they must target them one by one. Failure to do this means they are in collusion with them, and Africans will only be left with a military coup to revolt against politicians. Military coups will continue to be popular. Many people think that sanctions are not effective, but they are. A visa ban on a corrupt politician and his family will tame him immediately. Where are they going to spend all the money they steal? They can't comfortably bank them in local banks because they will be caught. If an African politician can't travel to EU country, United Kingdom or America, he has nowhere else to launder the money to. He can't go on holiday. He can't even go to a meeting. He's stuck in his country. It will force them to behave better. It might even lead to their working for their citizens to make their country better, so that people wouldn't need to travel to Western countries to seek basic services, like going to a hospital in Europe to treat a minor ailment, which no European politician will do, and all other wasteful adventures they always embark on. So a politician who is a dictator in civilian garb is worse than a military dictator. They are just using democracy as cover. In a military regime, you know the law doesn't apply, so you can't take them to court. Even if you did, they won't obey the court order. So why is it the same thing in a democracy? Thanks for watching.